Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. We're doing a little bit of a different video today. I was preparing to do like kind of an iPad book journal video, and honestly I am a little bit short on time, and it made me think about a question that I had got on one of my other iPad book journal videos. If I could help talk through how I choose the photos and kind of elements and things that I'm putting on the pages when I'm doing my book journal spreads. So I thought we would do something a little bit different for this video, a little bit of a different format. I'm gonna sit here, I have my cozy electric blanket and my iPad. There's some Inception going on. I have started screen sharing or screen recording on my iPad. By the way, I also have a digital journaling 101 video. This is gonna be kind of a series on the channel where I talk about how I digital journal, tips and tricks on how to journal on your iPad. Specifically, I do iPad book journaling, but I will link that video below and in the card so you can check that one out if you need a more basic rundown of what digital journaling is and kind of how to get started on your iPad. But I figured I would do kind of a series for this iPad book journaling and start with the basics. This is before you even are working in a journaling app. For me, that's Good Notes. Don't mind that. That's just me crying reading the Final Jade Legacy book. You will see here I have specific collections for a few books. You can see Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, Hexed, Enchantra, Intermezzo, Eclipse, Jade War. Those are all just collections within my Photos app. You can just kind of put everything in a folder, and I will go through and gather everything and put it in this folder on my iPad first thing. This allows me to just see the vibe, see what I'm kind of missing for something like Hexed, which was very mermaid, pink, purple inspired. I collected various shells, Ferris wheels, again, fish, things that are on the theme of the book. So I'm just going to chat through how I decide what to look for. And we are gonna talk about a book that I just finished reading that I want to do a book journal spread for, and that is Thief of Night by Holly Black. So I'm just gonna open up my browser, and I use 3 main stock photo websites. And you can see they're here mostly in my recents because that's what I use my iPad for the most. That's gonna be Pixels, FreePic, and Unsplash. Those generally, I get most, I would say 90% of what I'm using for my book journal spreads from those sites. FreePic I use more for elements and stickers, backgrounds. I would say the other one that I also use is Pixabay. That's also a good one. Let's also pull up the book cover because this is always the first thing that I go find. I'm gonna look at the colors, the theme, and save this as the very first photo that we are using in my collection. Really am obsessed with this cover as well. This was one of the main reasons that I wanted to use this as an example for this video. I did really enjoy the book. Actually, this is a duology. I enjoyed this one even more than the first one. I think it was a little bit more well-rounded. So I'm gonna add this to an album. We're gonna create a new album for this. So we are just gonna press a little plus, and then we're just gonna name it. So we have that. Generally, I like to just find photos first, right? So for any journal spread, any book, not just Thief of Night, I have a few different kind of categories of things that I know I'm gonna go search for and look for. So first thing is I want a variety of different photos. So the first kind of category that I usually look for is scenery, just kind of architecture, buildings, interiors, locations. Like if a book is set in New York City, I'm gonna look for New York City landscapes or cityscapes. Thinking about the location and the vibes of the book. Sometimes it also helps for me if I just pull up the book on like Goodreads, kind of refresh my memory of the synopsis. as well. So sometimes I'll just pull this up. But The Thief of Night is an urban fantasy, and the main character is a thief. She kind of grew up, you know, a little bit of a criminal, kind of a career criminal type, but she, you know, kind of lives in like a dingy apartment. She works as a bartender to make ends meet, and her other kind of secret side job is this kind of crazy fantasy storyline. But she's basically in this world. Part of the magic system is that shadows can be detached from people. Shadows are kind of their own entity, and it's kind of like an extension of you, but they can also be detached, be stolen, and then be kind of morphed into another being that's not quite human, called a blight. So we're kind of going for like dark, dingy, sexy shadows. So as far as like the scenery and architecture, and I'm gonna go to my first stock photo, speakeasy, just because that is something that really sticks out in my mind. A lot of scenes happen like in a speakeasy bar because that's where she's working. She's meeting people there. People are coming in to, you know, kind of catch her off guard. She's meeting up, you know, after a kind of crazy mission, you know, like this. I'm gonna go in and start saving. Some of these stock photo websites I actually use the app for. Pexels is one of them, where I feel like on the iPad specifically, it's gonna be easier to like save things, in my opinion. So then I'm just gonna go download it, and I can download it directly to my album here. Saving photos on the iPad is one of the most non-user-friendly experiences that I have ever had. For some reason, like just saving images, they make it so difficult. So honestly, a lot of times I just screenshot it. It's the same thing. Like, it's a free license. I don't have to actually download the image file on here. Honestly, it seems like I'm just gonna have to screenshot most of these because they're not letting me just save them as photos. It's very strange. This also leans into our next category for finding photos, which is food and drink. This has its own category because I just feel like what people eat and drink in books, to me, is just so, I don't know, it's just a very common device that's used in books, right, to give the characters a personality. So Charlie, the main character, really has a caffeine addiction. She drinks a lot of black coffee. She doesn't sleep very often. It's a very common like scene and thing in the book that someone's like bringing her a black coffee. So I do have some black coffee I know already saved, but you know, we're just gonna go kind of look here, see if something kind of more fits the vibe of what we're looking for specifically. Like maybe a black coffee like in a diner, because it's a little more grunge. We're not looking for like a super aesthetic one. And if it doesn't have one that's fitting, then you just go to another website. I'm gonna go back to Unsplash, and we're gonna do black coffee diner. This one, see how I could just click on it? I just press down on it and I could just save it in my photos. Some of the websites and some of the apps just don't let you do that very easily, and it's super annoying. So I kind of want these like darker photos, you know what I'm saying? The next category for this is kind of people or characters. So this is kind of up to you of how you like to do it. I don't like to do too many like faces or art or people in my book journal spreads. Sometimes if someone has like a very specific look or feature, I will include that, like their eyes or their red lipstick or their super white blonde hair. I will do things like that. But for this one, I'm just thinking of the main character again, Charlie, who has a lot of chest tattoos. She's like covered in tattoos. So that is an instance where I'm going to look for a stock photo where it doesn't necessarily have like someone's face, but I can show like maybe just like her chest. She's kind of like a grunge emo type, and I love that. So I'm gonna do like women's chest tattoos and see kind of what comes up. And then you can always edit, right? So like this one could work. I believe she has black hair. You know, something like this is exactly kind of what we want. Then the final category kind of goes into the architecture and scenery, but specifically nature elements and kind of like seasonal elements is what I look for. Like I'm gonna do, for this again, I'm gonna do like rainy streets. If the book is, you know, a fall cinnamon bun cafe type of book, I would look for fall changing leaves and pumpkins. If it's a fantasy and a lot of it is, you know, kind of in the springtime and renewal and fairy tale, I'm gonna be looking for more that kind of whimsical look. So that is kind of the last category. Like I'm gonna do rainy streets. You know, things like street lamps, stuff like that. Like something like this is perfect. And then kind of going back to like the people, we're gonna do like their shadows. Shadows of people. Like this one's kind of creepy. Oh, this one is, see, and then this one has a watermark. This is a good example. I did not filter. And I kind of want something that's a little more, you know, like I said, ominous. Something that looks like it could be a person's shadow that's kind of separated from themselves, because that's, again, kind of the main premise in the book. So that is kind of just how I find photos. So now I know these are all saved in my library. I'm gonna go select them. Oh, I saved some doubles here. And then we are going to add them to collection, and the recent ones will generally be right here. It says add to Thief of Night. So I can go to collections, go to my Thief of Night, and now we have a photo collection started. Taking that a step further, now that you kind of see what you have, I would personally go in and add probably like double this. Something else you can do to kind of create a more cohesive aesthetic, when you can also edit things directly in your iPad app. For this kind of like shadow photo, I might want to put a filter on it that just makes it look a little bit more like the rest of the photos that I've collected. So we're just going to do the little edit button here. You can go to filters on the left, and I might do, generally I like a dramatic, a black and white. As it usually goes for me, once I start going through those categories and finding pictures, and then a picture will remind me of something. Another main plot point in these books is the search for like old books. Unsplash is probably the website that I have the most success with. I feel like it just has the most options and like high quality, and I like that I can't filter by that free, so it just doesn't get my hopes up, you know? And I probably have a lot of old books, you know, in my Photos app. And that's another thing that I can do too, is just go look to see what I've saved before, because a lot of the books that I read and journal for are of a similar vibe. A lot of them are, you know, fantasy. There's a lot of shadowing going on, so that kind of fits the theme of the book. So we're gonna save this one too. Lastly, kind of less of a photo, but more of veering into like graphics, and I'm not gonna go into like stickers and stuff in this video. That will be another video that I will do separately, of how to like find stickers, how to create them, how to create your own like kind of sticker sheets in the iPad, different ways of kind of gathering them for your book journaling. But this one I am gonna go to free pick, and I'm gonna do like celestial moons gold. And I'm just gonna see what comes up that I feel like will match the cover of this one. It has a very specific like kind of style. And then again, I'm gonna filter by the license and do free. And the good thing about free pick is they have photos, vectors, illustrations, stickers, graphics, like all kinds of different photos, all different kinds of media, not just like straight up photos or just straight up like clip art. So you can go to vectors, illustrations, photos, and you can also, which I like to do, is exclude the AI, which is gonna narrow down your stuff, you know, quite a bit. but that's what I like to do. Like this one here on the left specifically is perfect. Just get some kind of moons and graphics that match the aesthetic and that I can just kind of throw on the page either as a background or as a sticker, something like that. You know, you might want to use something like this moon thing as like a background for the whole spread, or you might want to layer a photo on top of a kind of pattern. So that's the other kind of way that you can search when you are preparing for your journal spreads. So I hope this was interesting. I hope this helped out. I am really hoping to get more of these kinds of videos in my Digital Journaling 101 series. So please let me know if you have any ideas for videos. If you guys have specific things that you need help with or that you would like to see, tutorials, anything like that. I have a ton of iPad book journal videos on the channel already that I will link a playlist for. Thank you guys so much for watching. Happy journaling. I will probably be filming this actual spread as well now that I've done all the kind of groundwork to get this going. So be on the lookout for that. Please subscribe if you don't want to miss it, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.